Good evening, everyone. We're gonna have something different today. No news, right? Because every Thursday is a different day. But as we have a lot of different people in the audience, especially our friends, we're gonna ask them for help as well. But first, the topic for today was broadcast as temporary blindness. Sabrina is gonna talk about seeing is believing. So I changed to in a group but alone. And this is chapter 5 of Our Road to Damascus, wrote by Daniel Azizi, which is one of the exponents of the Spiritist movement here in U.S. And we had the pleasure of having him talking to us, presenting multiple times. So we're going to talk today about, have you ever felt that although you have a lot of people around you, you feel alone? You don't feel embraced? You don't feel with everybody? Like, it doesn't matter how many people you have around yourself, it's not enough. So there's something missing there. But we're going to talk about this through the story of Saul conversion to Paul. And that happens because, as you guys know, that Saul was one of the high persecutors, the fiercest one. He was the golden boy of the Sanhedrin by the time. And he was sent to Damascus to capture Ananias, which was talking about Jesus, so he was making too much noise about Christianism and about Jesus' teaching, so he was sent to take him out. But he got to Damascus and he got a encounter with a higher power, and that changes everything. What does it has to be with us? A lot. First, because if we think about the time, come on. If you could think about the time that the computer takes to read it takes forever. But that's okay. There you go. So, nowadays, if we need to go in a distance, we take a car, maybe a plane, maybe a train. None of these were available by the time, right? So you had three options, as a matter of fact, to go through the desert. First one, you don't have money, you walk. And you walk. And you're tired of walking, what you do? You keep walking. Because there's no other way. Then you have the camels, if you do have some resources. It takes a long time. But Saul has power. So he had money, and he chose horses. A guy like Saul, that is the golden boy, that is the guy that has all the power and money, will go to a trip like this by himself. He's probably going to choose a lot of people, right? Maybe 2 or 3 that are mostly on his circle or the ones that he trusts more. But there will be people taking care of horses. There will be people taking care of food. He's not going to come like with a diet regimen for the desert. He's going to bring a lot of food, and that will delay the trip a lot, correct? So Daniel estimated that to be something in between 150-mile journey, in between 1 to 2 weeks. Depends on conditions, depends on what can he stay, where can he camp, and what can he do. So, hey kids, do you ever had a 7 to 10 day trip with some people from your class or people that you don't know, and you spend this time with them? Yes? Never? But if you,
Limit is 5 hours.
in 5 hours, did you got acquaintance with this kid, with the guy that you didn't know? Did you guys become a little bit more closer? But if you do have 7 days to 10 days, would you think that you have a chance to be more closer to them? In 10 days, you're not going to talk anything to them? Yeah? Do you think that in 10 days you can know a little bit more about themselves? I do believe so, right? So he had 10 days to talk to his peers or to his employees. And maybe, by the time that they got to Damascus, there are more than just related people. You can stay 2 days without saying a word. But after that, you go crazy. You need to talk. You need to express yourself. There is no entertainment equipment on the horse. So you need to talk. Then he got to Damascus and he had this encounter with Jesus. Are you guys up for that? Not really? Vince, can you come? Yeah? What's her name? Right behind. Can you come? Yeah? Annabella, can you come? Okay. I told you that would be different. Come here. So, by the story that Chico Xavier told, there was 3 companions with Saul. When he got to the Damascus door right there, and he fell off the horse.
Oof.
Yeah, but he was the only one that heard Jesus. And he got blind. You guys are with me for 10 days. We've been eating together, sleeping close to each other, talking, horse riding. So we are kind of close, right? Correct?
Yes.
Okay, I can assume that. In the end, I fell down the horse. I told you that I'm blind out of the blue sky. And I told you that I talked to Jesus. And now, instead of persecuting him, I love him. Let me give you more information. You guys are against Jesus, correct? Because you are with me, and I got to Damascus to imprison somebody that was talking about Jesus and the miracles that he did. So we are against them. All of a sudden, your boss fall off the horse and start talking miracles about Jesus. And 5 minutes ago, he was the fierce persecutor. What do you think? What? You didn't see anything happening to me, just me falling off the horse. What do you think? Am I crazy?
Well, it would certainly be different.
Certainly be different. Don't impersonate the guy that doesn't know what's happening. So what comes to your mind? The guys are going to start talking to each other, right? What's happening, right? So what comes to your mind if you don't know what happens to me?
I would just be like,
Don't be polite.
Plain.
Don't be polite.
just plain.
Just plain?
Yeah, just like, what the heck happened?
Exactly.
5
What
minutes ago, you
the...
hated Jesus. Now you love him. Like, confused.
Yeah. And now let me give you one more thought. Because everybody that you know that make your world the way it is don't like Jesus, and your boss now like Jesus, are you stay with your boss and risk your neck to be with him? And also he cannot see. Are you going to stay with him?
No.
Are you going to stay with him?
No.
Are you going to stay with him?
Probably not.
So, probably not, by the narrative of Chico Xavier, stay with Saul. Come here. The noes went back to Jerusalem, but not before to convince not before trying to convince Paul to get back to Jerusalem. Because Damascus was like a orange city or a smaller place like here. So if you have somebody sick, you're going to try to bring him to Orlando or Miami, where there are more chances and more doctors, skilled doctors to help. But as Jesus ordered Saul to go to Damascus, he said no. So you guys run back to Jerusalem. Thank you. Now it's just me and you. Do you think that the story tells that you deliver me to an inn, which is a cheap hotel? I am the master, I'm the last Coca-Cola of the desert. I'm Saul, the doctor of law. Are you going to try to deliver me to the inn in the first place, or are you going to try to send me to some other houses of people that has power, and because they will love to have me, they probably going to say, yes, come and stay with me. Where are we going? To the inn or to somebody else's house first?
Probably the inn.
To the inn?
Maybe.
But if I can stay better in somebody else's house that has more money, shouldn't you take me there first?
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's go. Okay. And he's a powerful guy here in Damascus. And he knows that I'm a fierce persecutor of Christians. So I knock on the door. He opens the door. He looks at me, and I start telling awesome things about Jesus. What their faces are looking like right now?
Probably surprised.
Weird, right? Would they accept me in their house
Maybe not.
if I'm against the law?
Probably not.
No. How many houses are we going to knock and be rejected until you got me to the inn?
Probably a lot.
Probably a lot. So we go back and you deliver me to the inn, correct? And now you are totally convinced that I'm lunatic, that I'm crazy, because you didn't see anything happening. 10 minutes ago, an hour ago, I was talking bad about Jesus, and now I'm talking all the grace about Jesus. You give money to the owner of the place, and what you do?
Not sure.
You say bye-bye,
Oh, yeah.
and you leave me by myself. Thank you. Go back to Jerusalem. Thank you, kids. A big round of applause for them. For your bravery, because it's not easy to come up here. So, we didn't set up this, okay? It just happened now. I didn't talk to them about that. Who are we on this road? Because this road happens every single time. When you need to go the extra mile, when you need to do something, when you need to have somebody with us that all of a sudden, because we change, they don't understand us anymore. And sometimes they leave. Sometimes they don't follow through. Sometimes they question your intelligence. Sometimes question your choices. So, are we Saul? Are we the companions? It changes, right? Sometimes we are one or the other. But many times we are Saul in this journey, trying to become Paul. Will they be with us to the end of the journey? We never know. That's the question, because one of the main things for humans is to be accepted. This is by psychology. And the other one, to be loved. So when somebody leaves you, you feel deprived from both. But what is the certainty that we have? Are they going to stay with us until the end of our road to Damascus? Or are they going to have their own road to Damascus? Probably the second answer, right? Then we got to the pain Olympic mode. My pain is better than yours. My pain is higher than yours. It's like we feel pain because we got rejected. We feel pain because we lose something. We lose a friend. We lose a parent. But did we really lose them? Or is the way that we look at that caused us pain? And take us to the pain Olympics mode, which is like, I am the champion of pain, the king of pain, like Sting used to say in one of his songs. I'm the king of pain. Why? Why do you want to be crowded as a king? Is there any advantage to be king in this sense? Not, but we stick to those kind of images. Losing is something that we're not used to. Lose means for us pain. And we don't like to feel pain. We don't like to, even if there is something so interesting in our brain that even on bad things, if you're going to do something, if you're going to keep doing something that is not good for you, but the option is to change, you're going to stick to the thing that is not doing good for you, because the brain prefers the pain that is known than the unknown pain. But you don't know if that's going to be a pain. And that's all because we are afraid of lose something. The kids nowadays call FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. What? The only thing that you cannot missing out is yourself. The rest is external. And that can change in a minute because you don't control it. So when we lose people, we have two ways to lose them. Got to the D word territory. You know what I'm talking about? D? And this word not can be said to be certain except death and taxes. This is Benjamin Franklin. So yeah, the D word is death. That will happen. Unfortunately for us, that are attached to material, not ethereal beings, we're going to miss them a lot. Right now I'm in a position that my mom just got out of the hospital, and for sure, I, with everything that I know, will miss her a lot if she discarnates. But for me, right now, she's better that way because she's not going to feel pain anymore. It's a hard decision to let somebody go this way. And of course, I'm going to suffer, I'm going to cry. Probably, yeah. I'm an emotive guy, so I'm not going to lie. But inside of me, something just decide that for her, it's better not feeling pain than living like 5-10 years feeling pain constantly every single day. That is not a life. That is not a life. So sometimes, and most of the times, our parents are going to go before us. We're not going to have them. Are you going to be attached to what you miss or what you gain from them? If it's from what you miss, you're not gonna see the bright side of that. Yeah, I'm not saying that you have to mourn and everything, but after this period, start collecting the goods that they left. Otherwise, your focus is going to be only on the bad things. And that's not going to help anybody, especially us. And changing circumstances. Like what just happened to Saul, happened to us so many times, right? One big day, we just decide that we don't want this anymore. And what happened to our friends, our support system? He's crazy. He's delirious. It's just a hangover. Whatever they can call. But sometimes you decide. And guess what? It's a heavy burden. But once it's yours. It's yours. It's not anybody else's. You have to decide yourself that you want to change. Because everyone around, it will not follow. That's something that you certainly can count on. Not as Paul, that saw himself, didn't see himself, he was blind, but perceived himself alone in an inn, not seeing anything, not knowing what's going to happen. Do you think that he think a little about his condition, why Ananias didn't show up? They didn't say how long it took, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I read, there was not a time frame to say, 15 minutes after he got to the inn, Ananias just show up and cure him. No, could be days. Days thinking about, I'm blind. I don't know this place. I don't have anybody in my trust circle around me. Everybody depart. And I, by the way, took a choice that probably will kill me. And he kept going. Metaphorically, have we had this kind of experiences before in our lives? Not dying per se, but if somebody gets out of your life, isn't that a kind of death as well? Because you're not going to see them anymore because the circumstances didn't allow? Are we going to deal with that in this way? Or are we going to see what they contribute? And right now, like an HD, like a memory card, if you delete a file, you have more space to put a different file that can contribute with some other aspects in your life from the new path that you choose to go through. Does that make sense, guys? How to handle loss? Any words of wisdom? Brian, how do you handle loss?
Just go through the pain.
I just put you on the spot, so I just give you some pain. Go through the pain. Yeah. Understand that pain is unavoidable, right? But it will not last forever. And sometimes, for us to move from point A to point B, let me take some and change to many. Many times to move from point A to point B, we need fuel. I'm going to spell it, the name of the fuel, P-A-I-N. We need pain. Pain will move us because I cannot stay in the same stage because that causes too much pain. That's what coaches do, right? If you go to a coaching session, a life coaching, he's going to make you feel so miserable, so in such a pain state, that such a leverage state, that you say, I don't want that anymore. I don't want this anymore. For real. It's not for me. So he presents you a great scenario. And your brain just do the shift. It will be awesome if we stay like this, because habits will push us back. But that's their job. And that's another thing. But that's how it works. How do we best prepare to what is to come? How do you best prepare for what is to come?
Lots of prayer.
Huh?
Lots of prayer.
Lots of prayer. I just put in our group today something about prayer and the brain. And when we pray, we generate so much neurotransmitters that is ridiculous, the amount of energy that comes to us just by praying. As a matter of fact, the guy just said that just the act of going down on your knees and do this start producing those neurotransmitters just because of habit. Isn't that crazy? And we take it for granted. We take praying for granted. I think this is more, it's even amazier, if there's a word, than not praying. Come on, don't take it for granted. Try it. Maybe we don't know what we're talking about, so you need to try yourself and see if it works. Siddhartha Gautama, aka Buddha, used to say, all suffering and strife come from attachment to impermanent things. Are we permanent? So, that's the clue right there. We attach to things that are not going to last, thinking they're going to last forever. They're not going to last forever. So, understand. We're here for a certain period of time. Our parents are here for a certain period of time. And they're not going to last forever. We're not going to stay in the same stage forever. If we, lucky enough, we're going to get to our old age in good shape. And that's all we can do. But after that, we know that as certain as Texas, as Benjamin Franklin said, we're going to die. And there's no biggie on it. That's what's going to happen. So how can we prepare to that? Don't get too attached to things that are impermanent. And you think that's going to last forever. Nothing lasts forever. If you do that, you're going to have space to start gaining people, not losing people. People that get out of your circle gives space to other people to get in. And that's how you evolve. We focus too much on trying not to lose people. See, remember when I talk about focus. What you focus in deletes the rest. So if I'm so committed in not losing people, I'm not looking to gain more people. I'm not looking to expand my circle. I'm just looking to keep what I have. But if we know that what we have sometime will run out, stop focusing on this. We forget that the road ahead of us is better than the one behind us. We're so attached to what we had, then we don't know what we can get. We don't take the leap of faith. We don't see the silver lining because we're so scared. And that's how it works. And that's how we, as human beings, act, think. It's hard to let go when we have it's hard to let go what we had before we see what we may gain. St. Thomas, right? Seeing to believe it. I need to touch Jesus to see if he's real. Otherwise, I'm seeing, but I don't believe it. I need to touch it. I need to see that it's real. Otherwise, it's not going to be real. Period. So what shall we do? Again. Do you believe in God? Why? It's hard to explain. Let me ask you something. Did God get to your house anytime and ask for dinner? No? Did he sleep with you or just have a party with you one time? Have you ever seen God? So how do you believe in him?
Well, we mostly read books, and we do pray a lot. Anytime I can't sleep, my mom just says for me to pray, and then I eventually fall asleep.
Okay, so you know that God exists because somebody told you that, but you don't. If nobody told you that, you don't believe in him. So you believe in somebody that told you that he exists, or do you believe that he exists?
I believe it personally.
Okay, that's fantastic. So you're taking a leap of faith, right? Because you never saw God. So why don't we take a leap of faith in ourselves? Why don't we take a leap of faith in what we can do and the choices that we can have? Why? Don't answer me. Answer yourselves. Growth is about let go the old to make space for the new. Everybody wants to have something new, but nobody's committed to do new things to be a new being. Stop practicing the silent dance. I will reject you because I'm afraid that you reject me. So I'm not going to talk to you because if you reject me, you're going to feel pain. And because of this, and if the cows fly, we're going to shower with milk. Okay? So stop the ifs and buts. It's a matter of how and when. Ifs and buts do not exist. Out of the equation. It's just how and when that's going to happen, because it will happen. When you lose someone, you open space to gain something new. So, like the hard drive, if you delete a certain amount of bytes, then you have more space to put more material. And sometimes, because we learn every day, the greatest skill that we can have is to learn, unlearn, and relearn. We have to be open to erase what is not good for us anymore. And I know I'm killing the camera guy. He hates me right now, but that's okay. I love you too. The choice is to hang on the status quo or embrace the change. Are you going to be one of the guys that reject Saul because he started talking crazy? Or are you going to embrace the change? If you embrace the change, chances are that you're going to change. If you get stuck to the status quo, chances are that you're going to change. But it's going to be so painful. It's going to be so hard. And that's why on Spiritism we say that, pain is the fuel for changing, because we wait and wait and wait until there's no other way but to change. We're all going to change, right? From the child to the elder, we're all going to change. And if you're so cool as this lady on the picture, that is a great change. Why is it so hard to embrace? Again, if you change something, you are afraid of losing something else. And nowadays I don't do this joke anymore because I'm like, I feel that my front pouch is getting shorter, so I don't do that anymore. But like when we had a nice belly, and people say, why don't you go to the gym or do some exercise or stuff? Oh, I spent so much time brewing this. I spent so much money investing on this. And in the end, although it is a joke, it's right. That's how we think. If I spend that much time and money and effort in something, even though it's not good, why should I give up? Your eyebrows just go, whoa, yeah. We don't put this on the table. We don't put cards on the table that often because that hurts. And we avoid pain. People level confusion will vary according to the degree of change we are embarking. Have you ever experienced that? If you come up with a crazy idea, people's like, okay, let me get out of here. This guy's too much for me. I cannot cope with him. But that's how it is. And now from one day to the other, you are seeing spirits. You are understanding that spirits are around us. Hey, dude, okay. What did you have? You know, how many pints or whatever? What kind of drug are you in? They resist to believe in something that they don't see. So the level of confusion, it's equal to the change that you are presenting. Because they think that you should be the way that they are, the way that they know you. Richard, I remember that I was talking to your wife, and you guys travel all over the world, and then when you came back here, you tried to talk to your old friends from school, and you could do it once. And then after that was not the same or was not even close. Do you think that This can be like they had a role model of who you were, and now you're not the same guy, and for that reason, they don't accept you because you're an outsider to a society that is 4x4, black and white. Sometimes that's how it works. We crave human connection. When our emotional support systems collapse, we struggle. Understand that. And that's the pain part. But that's gonna heal. That's gonna pass. Nothing lasts forever. Let go of the expectation that our fellow travelers should or will follow us. They have their own free will. They have their own road to Damascus. And sometimes the road crossed, and sometimes the road got diverged. That's okay. All you can do is enjoy while they are walking with us and get as much information, as much good things for us while they are on the road, on the path with us. People are always changing, and their behaviors are response to their happiness on their own road to Damascus. So, the behavior of our friends, the behavior of people that are around us, is just a response of the level of happiness or sadness on their own road. That here we are calling road to Damascus. Don't jump in to somebody that don't want to change. And that's why here, with Spiritists saying, so be it. So be it is not something that you say because you don't care. How many times, or how many of us here try to convince somebody that doesn't want to be convinced? And in the end, you are exhausted and angry. And hurt. So what you got out of this? You hurt and you're angry. Whoa. Great effort. Oh, but I tried. No. You didn't look at it. You didn't put a line. No, I'm not going to cross from here. I remember once I was watching one video from Tony Robbins, and he said that one of his mentors was Zig Ziglar, and he said, Zig, what can I do to convince or to wake up or to grab the attention of that guy that is sleeping in my audience? And Zig Ziglar looked at him and say, nothing. Absolutely nothing. You're not talking to him. You're talking to the guy on the side. You're talking to somebody that wants to hear what you have to say. But if you really want to wake him up, do a joke. Because everybody's going to start laughing and he's going to wake up. But that doesn't mean he's going to pay attention. He's going to get back to the sleepy mode in about 10 seconds. But if you want to wake him up, yeah, that's the technique. But don't go too much on it. Don't spend too much effort on it. Understand, everybody has his own path. And not all paths are equal. Accept that. Alone does not mean lonely. And we mistake this. Solitude is not loneliness. Solitude or being alone is having nowhere else around. And it doesn't mean that you're unhappy. That doesn't mean that you don't feel supported. That doesn't mean that everything is wrong. I don't know you guys, and sorry honey if you're listening to that, but sometimes I need my me time. You know, so sometimes, and I know that she needs her time as well. So sometimes when we travel and one stay, we don't stay like, oh my God, I feel so. No, we need that time. We need that time for ourselves. But use that time for yourself. Otherwise, you're going to focus in what? She's not here. I'm alone. Poor me. That doesn't work like this. Then it's loneliness. But it's not because of the physical thing around you. It's because of what is inside of you. Being lonely is feeling solitary or sad because one does not have friends or company. Again, guys, this is a tricky thing because we love to be in a group. When we were young, especially guys, we'll do anything to be in the high level crazy guys group. And normally that group is controlled by the no brain and a lot of muscle guy. And we do whatever he says that is cool, even if we know that is not cool. Just because we want to belong. And that's how human beings work. So kids, pay attention to that. Don't fall in this trap. If you want to be, the pink ladies who don't know what I'm talking about, that's Greece, that's so old. But if you want to be with the cool guys and the cool chicks in the school, and you need to do something bad, that is not right to do it, quit. Open your own group. Probably the guys that don't like to be on the other groups will come to yours. It's that simple. But we have to have a leap of faith and guts. Paul at the inn was both alone and lonely because he felt the presence of Jesus. So he was not alone. But he was lonely because there was nobody around him. But loneliness is something that can happen during our journey, but it's not going to last forever. It's not going to last too long. And if you're good to yourself, if you like yourself, you're never lonely. Only physically, but not here. We can be alone even if we are surrounded by people. And it's okay to feel alone. But that will happen, and that will happen a lot of times. Minimize the time that you feel lonely. It's okay to be alone, but try to minimize the time that you feel lonely. Isn't that going to happen? Yes, it will. Of course. If you never felt lonely, please don't say it because I'm going to hate you. So bad. Everybody feels lonely once in life, So it's okay. Minimize. Try to keep it real. Try to keep it in a way that you can manage that and not suffer from that. The key to be happy is to be okay with yourself in any occasion. Again, let me ask the experts. So, Alexander, if I give you a check, but instead of money, there is a bank called Bank of Emotions. And my check, it's 1,000 units of love. But inside your bank, or inside my bank, I'm giving to you, inside my bank, there's 0 units of love. What's going to happen to that check? You try to cash, what's going to happen?
It's not going to work.
It's not going to work, right? So, by the laws of the banks, it's going to return to my account and I'm going to pay a fee, right? But as we're talking about love, what is the fee that I'm going to pay with love? Not that I'm putting you on the spot. No problem.
I don't know.
Are you going to hate yourself because you don't feel love?
No.
Are you going to try to love yourself to pay the check?
Yes.
There you go. A hand for him, guys. It was not me that said that. Just ask the children, because they don't have all the filters that we have. They will respond whatever comes to their brain. Sometimes it's kind of hard because you have an open mic here, but so far we're good, right? So, this is my finished video for you guys, and I hope you pay a little bit of attention to that because this is so true. The key of happiness, analyzed by the Harvard University.
What is the key to happiness? Is it more money? a bigger house.
Let's go back. Okay.
What is the key to happiness? Is it more money, a bigger house, fancy cars, another degree to put on your wall? Well, it turns out it's actually none of those. And there's proof now, because Harvard did an 80-year study on happiness that started in 1938, where they interviewed 724 teenage boys from all walks of life, from students at Harvard to boys that lived in houses with no running water. And overall, there was one key factor to a person's happiness, no matter where they came from or how successful they did or did not become. And over the course of 80 years, Harvard found out that the number one thing that mattered the most to an overall happiness that a person had was this: the quality of their relationships. Now, this is not how many friends they had on Facebook or how many people they had stored inside of their cell phones, but the quality and the depth of their closest relationships. And they started this study when these men were in their late teens and kept it going all the way until their deaths, interviewing them every 2 years. And they sat down in their living rooms. They got their medical records. They talked to their doctors. They did brain scans. They interviewed their wives, their children, and over 2,000 of their grandchildren over the course of the years. And over again, they found that happiness or lack of happiness came from their relationships. But there was one interesting finding that the professors did not expect. The Harvard professors learned that the happiest people in the study were not only deeply connected with friends and family and their community, but they actually lived longer than those that were not. And they realized that social connections keep us healthier. And loneliness is toxic. Loneliness kills. In fact, 70 different studies across the world with 3.4 million participants found out that social isolation and loneliness are linked to premature death. And they found that the men that had the greatest levels of satisfaction in their relationship when they were 50 years old were the healthiest. And the ones that had the lowest levels of satisfaction in their relationships at 50, they didn't even make it to their 80s. So, what can we learn from these men over this 80-year study? If you want to be happy, then there's one thing that you should focus on, and that's the quality of your relationships. And that's what the people that are around you, the ones that you are closest to. Sure, go out and get the success you want, the money, the house, the cars, the business, or whatever else that you desire. That's your prerogative. But don't think that those things will make you happy. Don't think that they'll fill a hole that you feel inside of you. The only thing that can make you truly fulfilled are deep, meaningful, close relationships. So love the ones that are around you and put your relationships first and work on developing them. And the success, the money, the fulfillment, the health, and the happiness will naturally make their way into your life.
We always can make it or break it. Normally, we're very good in breaking it. Please.
Sorry, I have just a kind of an anecdote on this, that I feel that the more connected we are on social media and, you know, all those different things, it's actually harder to make meaningful relationships.
Yeah, he said that it's not about Facebook. It's not about social media.
It's like
social media is
when I was a kid, I used to go out and play, and now my son, he's mostly on it. Like, it's really hard. He's in the neighborhood now. There's other kids around, but in general, I just think it's harder to make meaningful connections and relationships.
Tell me something. Stand up for a second.
Yes.
Come here. Come here. Give me a hug.
Sure.
No, give me a hug. For him. I don't like. Only after midnight.
Yeah.
Does that work more than a like?
Of course, absolutely. Yeah.
That's it. That's what he said. We are so fulfilled with likes on Facebook, on Instagram, or some. Nowadays, when I post my when I post my things on social media, sometimes I say, and I try not to use the word no, because when you use the word no, it seems that you're saying do it. I try to stimulate people to don't give me likes. I don't care about your like. I care about your opinion. Please leave a comment. I always put the F word on it, but sorry, that's my brain. Got you. Freaking, hey, freaking. No, not what you thought, okay? Don't leave a freaking like, because I'm not looking for likes. I like myself. Otherwise, I won't be here. I won't be a speaker. I won't be a consultant. I like myself. That's okay. You know, there's sometimes that I don't like it too much, of course. And that's human nature. That's life. But a like versus a hug, please. It's a no-brainer. And of course, what he said was like, invest on your closer relationships. But tidying up to our study tonight, invest on your relationships. But if you feel, or if you know, because we know, we have this gut feeling, that is something that is not going to last, please understand the way it is. Otherwise, you're going to suffer. You know, if you like somebody else more than you like you, that means that you don't like yourself too much. You need somebody to like yourself, to appreciate who you are. Because if somebody just leave, then you're not as good as you thought you were. Don't let anything outside yourself to define you. Love yourself first, and then you can love anybody else. Are we going to get to traps? Again, if you're not, I hate you. But luckily, we will. And it's not a curse. It's just facts. So we will get to some traps. We will do the same over and over again. But all of a sudden we learn. I love the word fail as an acronym. First attempt in learning. If every time you fail is your first attempt in learning, you're going to learn something from that. If you don't learn anything, then I'm sorry. And there's people that are just like that as well. And that's its own road to Damascus. It will mix sometime with yours, but you have to be aware that probably that's not the person that will stay longer with you. And if he crossed the paths, it's because he has something to add. You know that Americans do love to play with words, and they say, don't overexpose your butt. B-U-T, not double T. When you use the word but, it's excluding. Oh, you guys are awesome, but nobody's paying attention to me. Our brain just going to listen to the last part. Nobody's paying attention to me. The awesome part is excluded. So always use and, which is additive. It's going to add something. So again, anybody that cross our paths, add something if we know what we're looking for. And if we don't, again, fail. First attempt in learning. Thank you.